All right. Well, just go ahead and just give me an idea about how did you get started in mudding, and when did it start?
Well, I'd say, in all honesty, I've kind of been a lover of mud ever since I was a little kid. Never wanted to get out of the sandbox per se. I've always had four wheelers, dirt bikes, little trail trucks and whatnot. And wherever I lived, I always found a way to get out into the woods and find my way onto the trails, whether it be, in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, or down here in Florida, or any other place I've ever been. Um, I'd have to say that it's just the love of being outdoors, just
It's an addiction.
being able to, yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's not something that like it's with you one day and the next day it's not. If you really, really love this with your heart,
Mm-hmm.
it's something that you will do no matter the weather, no matter the distance, no matter, the time that it takes. And I think that's part of it too, is the fact that, it gives me something to do. If something breaks, it gives me something to fix. If it's, if we get stuck, it gives us a story to tell,
Yeah.
and it gives me time to hang out with my friends and, hey, yeah, we're stuck in the middle of the mud hole or whatever, but man, that's where some of the greatest stories have come from in my life in general.
Yeah.
I've got some great memories just from getting stuck, dude, in the middle of nowhere with some friends back from high school, middle school, all the way up to, right now. I could even this past weekend,
Yeah. Well,
it still happens. Nothing has changed. The size of my truck might have gotten a little bigger, but I still get stuck just the same, and it's just as fun.
well, yeah. Speaking of your truck, man, like I always wonder how much do you have in that truck? Like how much was it when you first bought it?
When I first bought the truck, I acquired it 4 years ago, and we spent, I believe it was like $4,500 on the truck, and it had some one-ton axles underneath it, and leaf spring suspension, steel blocks. It was a backyard build, and we took it, brought it in, and completely redid it. And tried to make it as user-friendly as possible for me. And, we took it as far as we could with our knowledge. And it worked really good. I mean, I had a great time with it. I broke it every single weekend. So
Or crashed it?
Guaranteed. It was a guaranteed I needed to fix it, And,
Yeah.
and I'd say, in all honesty now, I really couldn't tell you a ballpark because I stopped looking at the prices because certain things I could get for new and other things I was buying used off of friends or trading. I did a lot of trading, trade you these axles for, these axles, or trade you these shocks for these shocks, or I traded out a boat for some stuff, and I mean, just little stuff. But if I had to say, you're probably in the neighborhood of 25 grand, something like that, to build.
Do you have an idea how much? You have an idea how much horsepower it's got?
I have about roughly 750 horsepower right now, and that to the rear wheel we got about 648, 647ish, somewhere in that neck of the woods. It's a small block. It's a small block 441, and it's stroked and punched out over. Obviously, we're running 116 fuel in it, carbureted, no adders, nothing like that. It's all motor. Our rev limiters are crazy high, so we can spin some serious RPM on it, and that's what I love about that motor. I've always been a small block fan. Always. It came originally with a small block when I picked it out, the World 355, and after about 3 different motors that I've gone through, I finally found the one that has become my heartbeat of my truck, if you will, and it has sprung new life into Chase and Paper.
It seems bulletproof, man. The small blocks are
It
beast.
is, yeah, it's a very well built motor. A gentleman down in Naples who builds dragsters built it for us. His name is Mike Thompson. Mike Thompson Race Engines. He did it for us, and he is an absolute amazing mechanic when it comes to engines. I mean, the stuff in his shop and the pictures I've seen and the work I've seen firsthand is incredible. And the amount of heart that he puts into each engine, he really cares. And I mean, it really shows when you turn the key, your motor works.
How long have you had that engine? This last one, this small block.
This last one, when I flipped back in January, Chase and Paper 1, we flipped over at Redneck Yacht Club, and that was a 421. And I ran that at Cowboys after the flip, and I was wrecked, and there's the cab was all smushed in and everything, and the motor was doing great, and we had oil pressure, but what we hadn't seen was when we rolled, the cab had twisted, and it had actually pinched one of the oil lines, and it wasn't getting the full oil that it needed to the top of the motor, but it was still reading good oil pressure. And I ended up blowing up the motor. That happened to me in Michigan, at Michigan Mud Jam. That's why we were having fuel issues, because the motor was locking up and it was dumping fuel into the engine and not burning it off. So we thought we had a carburetor issue, when in fact it was the motor was basically locking up on us, hydrolocking on fuel, because the pistons weren't firing fuel.
Huh.
Yeah, it did a number on it. So we had to rebuild the engine prior to going to Virginia.
I do remember you telling me about that up there.
Yeah, so that motor is complete refresh for Virginia. I went up there with a completely refreshed motor.
Well, with that,
and then I did a number on my truck.
How many times have you rolled that thing? Because I know of one for sure, because I was there. But
yeah, that is I rolled it twice. Completely laid over. The first one was Redneck Yacht Club. That was 2.5 full rolls and a somersault on the nose. And the second one you were there for. That one was obviously pretty gnarly. That did a number on Chase and Paper. It's still pretty banged up right now. The cab and body is. I mean, everything else mechanically is working, but as far as if you look at it, it looks like it went through a war.
Oh, really? You still haven't got that put together? I figured you had that.
It's been put back together a bunch, but we're actually we're working on getting a whole new cab, everything new, and we're going to redo it again. So we're going to run this cab, this setup, the way it is right now, until we have all our parts and pieces lined up. Again, it takes time and money.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't grow on trees.
What year is that truck?
93.
93.
Toyota SR5.
SR5. So, because you get around, you talk to all kinds of people, and you're definitely someone that, definitely talks to everybody. So, who do you actually look up to in the industry?
There's a lot of guys. I'd have to say that there's different guys that I've looked up to for different reasons.
Okay.
I would say Russell Twitty, driver of Liver Killer. Man, guy's a legend. Incredible mutter, incredible truck, and all around just a good guy. I mean, straight up will talk to you, no matter who you are, no matter what walk of life, where you come from. He's just a real guy. He's a genuine guy, and I've always admired him for that. And and the way he drives his truck. I mean, he's known for toting too, and